All right, I'm gonna hit, you ready for me to hit start? Are you here?
I'm here. How's it going, man?
I'm gonna hit start.
All right. Are you need an intro again? Quick intro?
I'll do a little
Wait.
intro and come back to you.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, come on in, folks. Get this thing started here shortly. Let's see, on time at noon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure that you are able to leave comments. It's awesome, beautiful. Good, good. Come on in, folks. Go. We have a lot of people signed up for this, so we're going to give it just a minute or two, and then we'll get rolling. Chat set up properly. All right, attendees can chat with everyone, hosts and panelists. Get this going. Good, good. So if you can hear me, if you don't mind, maybe the typical standard request, just kind of throw it out there that you can hear me, and that'd be great. We'll pick that up in the chat. And if you don't mind, I like doing this too as well. It's something that a lot of people do. Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. Let's throw your city in there. Where are you listening to the podcast from? We have a lot of people showing up today. San Diego, my hometown. The very first one to pop up. That feels awesome. That's great. Cool. Detroit, Hagerstown, Lubbock, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. Wow, beautiful. What else is coming on here? Flint, Michigan. Thank you. A lot of Michigan. That's cool. There's Tulsa, Oklahoma, Fort Worth. Good. Okay, winner. We have a winner. Well, see that Jason's comment on this is Rotterdam, the Netherlands. That's all right. You win. We can stop. All right, so let's go. We'll get this thing going. We want to make sure that we give Jason all the time he needs. He has a lot of great information that he's going to share with us today. My name is Bill Risser. I'm with RateMyAgent. We're the one of the fastest. I take that back. We're the fastest growing review platform in the U.S. designed to help agents easily collect, store, and implement review marketing into their business. And the one thing that we do very well as a review and marketing platform is really build that online presence and reputation. And we're specifically designed just for real estate agents. I think that's critical. And some important numbers to know in the 2022 NAR Home Buyer Seller Trends Report. 82% of all sellers only contact one agent. Going to list their house, they only contact one agent. How do you ensure that you're the one agent that gets contacted? Well, I think we can help with that, right? We help your team, you and your team stand apart, with reviews that create content to continuously share on social media. And we make it easy to post those automatically as well. So you have this consistent brand and presence online. And why is that important? Well, that's why you're here. We're thrilled to have Jason Pantana here today. He's going to help answer that question and more. Jason's a coach, trainer, speaker with the Tom Ferry International organization, and he's going to bring a wealth of knowledge and help you level up on your social media today. So without further ado, let's turn this over to Jason. Jason, welcome to the podcast.
Bill, thanks for having me back. I'm pumped for round 2 of our 3-part series. So last session, for those who were on, we talked a lot about your Google business profile and SEO. And today we're going to dive headfirst into social media marketing. We'll talk some about how the algorithms work, just a little bit. We're going to talk mostly about content today, but I'm stoked. And I'm going to have us out of here around noon My local time, I'm in the central time zone, so about 55 minutes. I'll try to give 5 minutes or so at the end just for Q&A, but I am very ecstatic to be back with you. I'm honored to be with you. Honestly, I'm gonna limit the pleasantries because we've got a lot of ground to cover. So I'm gonna get my screen up so you can see my slides. Let me just click the right button over here so I do it right. And you should be seeing my slides. And if I could get a visual confirmation in the chat that, yep, you see the slides, you should be seeing the QR code with all of my different social media links so we can connect. Someone in the chat, let me know that you've got a good visual of the slides, and then I'm gonna get us moving. Yep, says Nancy. Well, technically, I think she said yippee because she put the P before the E, but I get the idea, and I love the enthusiasm, Nancy. I'm stoked about it too. For those of us we have not connected yet on social media, I'd love to be a resource for you. I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I am on LinkedIn and different platforms, and I want to be a resource for you wherever you are also. And if you are hearing the dog in the background, I believe she sees the mail person coming to deliver the mail, so I apologize. There's a dog upstairs in my house who barks at everything. Notwithstanding, if there is a comment or an idea that raises a question, please think of me as a resource and just shoot me a note in my DMs. And I will take this time now to tell you also that at the end of the presentation today, there's a link in the slides to go download all the slides so you can have access to them, because the slides serve sort of as a workbook for this particular presentation. Bill already mentioned it. I am a coach with Tom Ferry, and I have been for about 7 years. And for over the past 10 years, we've been ranked the #1 coaching program, really on an international level, according to the Swampole Power 200, for 10 years running consecutively. And we take tremendous pride in that because it reflects on our ability as coaches to enable and empower our coaching clients to achieve their highest levels of performance. If they didn't have success, then we wouldn't be successful as coaches. And it is through what we've learned in the ecosystem, working with our coaching clients, the videos they're making, the social media they're conducting. It is from all that today's presentation is based. So get ready to rip off and duplicate, because we have a lot of content coming up for you here today as we talk about your social IQ. How do you beat the algorithms? How do you position yourself on Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and all the major platforms to be the most dominant, recognizable agent in your local marketplace? Because that is what we need to be able to do. Because here's what I would say, like, look at the screen for a moment. I often say this in my presentations. I say that marketing without content is a lot like a bow without arrows. I want you to picture for a quick second the idea of an arrow or a bow that is arrowless. What is it good for? And the answer is not much. It doesn't have anything to shoot, but when you have arrows, you can take aim and you can set your sights on specific targets and you can knock down those targets. And in the same way, think about your content, your videos, what you publish on Instagram, on Facebook, and elsewhere. All the content you're producing, each post, each piece of content is like an arrow in the quiver that can be used to bring about specific objectives, that can be used to position you as the know you, like you, trust you agent of choice. Because remember, this is a relationship business, and I want to stress this idea to you. We're going to talk about some of the nerdy stuff on social media. We will, but I want to stress the idea to you that this is really about content, and content is really about creating conversations, creating community whereby folks know you, they like you, they trust you. Because I think you would agree with me, and I'd love to hear you in the chat if you do agree with me, that real estate is and always has been a relationship business. Tell me in the chat who recognizes that, who recognizes that it's a know you, like you, trust you business, whether it's online or offline. Give me some feedback in the chat. I'd love to hear from that. And I also want to know, of the know you, like you, trust you, which is the most important? Which is the biggest deal? Okay, I see Randy, I see Bridget, you agree, good. I think it's important. We have a tendency, I think, sometimes in our industry to dehumanize the relationship because so much of it takes place over the phone or over text or over social media. And those may be the mediums of communication in today's day and age, but it doesn't make it any less of a relationship business. People do business with agents they know, like, and trust. Trust is a special word because there's different types of trust. There's a sense of I trust you personally versus professionally. Like, it's not about eliciting a sense of I trust you to walk my dog this weekend. Your content should be aimed at eliciting a sense of, I trust you with the largest transaction of my life. Whether buying or selling, I realize that I need counsel. Think about it like this. In life's biggest decisions, getting married, for instance, is a big decision in life. Smart people seek counsel. They get marriage counseling to help them make sure they're going about their decision in the right way, because it's a choice of consequence. Think about think about career choices. People seek career advice because it's a huge decision. It's going to have a big impact on their lives. In the same way, shouldn't the consumer who's making the largest financial investment of their lifetime, buying a house, selling a house, there's so much on the line, shouldn't they also seek competent counsel? And the answer is 100% they should. And that's where your content comes in. How do you elicit a sense of, I trust you professionally? And this builds right on top of last week's session, or whatever week ago it was, when we talked about your reviews and Google Business Profile and establishing credibility, because there is so much at stake. How are you giving the consumer confidence that they should work with you? Know you, like you, trust you. I would say the one that's the biggest trigger in terms of will somebody or won't they hire you is like you. There are a lot of agents in your local marketplace that are competent and trustworthy, but they'll pick you. The consumer will pick you if they like you the best. Now, I want you to think for a moment about what it means to like somebody. You've often heard, I suspect, that, oh, if I go to a listing appointment and I see that they've got a picture of themselves fishing on the wall, and maybe you like fishing, you might think, I'm going to talk about how I like fishing, because if I like fishing and they like fishing, therefore they'll like me. And I'm like, that's not really the way this equation, this formula of like works. In the book, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, which if you're looking to read a great book that will enable you in sales and marketing, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, the author talks about that, yes, it's true, consumers work with people they like, with professionals they like. But what does it mean to like somebody? And what the book uncovers is that a consumer will like you when they sense from you, you have what they want at heart. If they get the sense that you want for them what they want for themselves, their natural human response is to therefore like you for it. And so, how can you make your content, your marketing, everything you do all about the consumer? It reminds me of the old quote from Zig Ziglar. You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help other people get what they want. And if this becomes the marching orders of your content strategy, how can I give it all away, knowing that if I put it out there, it's going to invite a reciprocity, a relationship, I know you, I like you, I trust you kind of response. So here's where we're at so far in the lay of the land. At the end of the day, your social media strategy, it lives and dies based upon your content. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. It doesn't do anything, and we live in a day and age where content is that important. And of all the kinds of content you can create, my favorite for you is video, specifically vertical videos. TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts are our vertical video formats. Vertical video means the phone's not like this, it's like this. That's all that it means. So we're going to talk today about vertical videos for several different reasons. One of the reasons is they're on trend, and so they're getting a lot of extra love and attention from these respective platforms. And so it's, follow the trend, get the best return on your time and effort in terms of making video content. If you look at stats, this is an old screenshot from Chris Kwan. He's one of our coaching clients. This is his Instagram analytics. And it's telling us that in the last, I think we're looking at a 90-day interval of time, he reached 220,884 accounts. Different people he reached. Wow. Of those, 6,825 were currently followers and 214,000 were non-followers. So that's a lot of reach. He's now grown his followers to 10,773. He's grown about 19.5%. This is an older screenshot, but he's grown significantly. And if you look at what's the reason for the growth, and this is what I want you to see, if you look at the kind of content, he's got reels, posts, videos, and stories. This is the one right here. This is the lion's share, and the dark blue means non-followers. His reels are being seen by a huge demographic of non-followers. And so if you want to use social media to grow and to reach a bigger audience, make reels on Instagram. That's the net conclusion of this slide. I want to focus on the 3 types of vertical videos that you need to make, and I want to be clear in my intentions here. This is not a one and done. I'm not advising you make one video and you're good for a while. I'm suggesting a lifestyle change. Imagine saying to me, I really need to lose some weight. And I say, well, you know what, diet and exercise. You should improve your diet, eat healthy, and go to the gym. And you're like, okay, I'll do that. And so you had one good meal and went to the gym one day and then came back to me the next day and said it didn't work. And I'm like, well, you're right, because it's a lifestyle change. It's something you have to do over and over and over again, and video works like that. Again, think about our original metaphor. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. My favorite kind of content? Video content. Every video is an arrow in your quiver. Every piece of content is something with which you can take aim to achieve a specific objective, and the objective is, I know you, I professionally trust you, and I like you because I sense from you that you have in mind for me what I have in mind for myself, and I sense that symbiosis, and therefore I want to work with you because I recognize I need an agent, I need a counsel from the best of the best, and that's you. That's what your marketing should be seeking to achieve. I'm on my little soapbox. Let me get off and let's talk about these 3 videos. Again, we're moving super quick. You're going to get all the slides, and I'm going to give you a lot of examples. Let your brain catch up for a second, and let's dive into the first, which is a talking head styled video. And talking head is it's a basic videography term that means you look at the camera and wah, 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 your mouth moves and you talk to the camera. These are videos that are centered around market news, tips, advice about real estate. It's you being a pro. Question for you. What do you sell? And I'd love to hear your answers in the chat. I'm going to give you a moment on this one. It's the big one. What do you sell? Take a second and answer in the chat. All right, we're looking at I sell. Ooh, that's a lot of answers. I love it. I sell myself, says one of you, to which I would respond and say, in some professions, that's not okay. Ha ha ha. Education? Are you like a university? I'm just teasing. I'm picking on you guys. A lifestyle? Okay. Knowledge? Okay, good. That's a one-word answer. Knowledge about what? Knowledge about, craft beer. Knowledge about what? A lifestyle again. Yes, I'd love the recording of the presentation. Yes, it is being recorded. You will get the recording. Pertinent topics, yourself, once again. Experience and professionalism. I like that one. That's a pretty solid answer. Clients want wishes and dreams. That's Disney and Nordstrom, right? I'm just kind of picking on everybody right now for your answers. I ask this question often of real estate agents, and I ask, hey, what do you sell? And the common answers I receive are, I sell myself, or I sell real estate or houses, to which I would say, no, you don't really sell houses. You help people who own houses or want to own houses buy or sell their properties, but the service you provide is a brokerage service. You are a transaction broker. That's what you do. And to me, the description that best describes what you do, what you sell is, if you flip the question and say, well, not what do I sell, but what are they hiring me for? They're hiring you for your expertise and the way you impart that expertise, which could be your personality, your competences, your experiences, and all the stuff that makes up your expertise. At the end of the day, you are a knowledge broker. And so I like the answer knowledge. That's closest to it. They're hiring you because they know you, like you, trust you, and they believe you have what it takes to get the job done, the job of getting their home sold or helping them buy the right property for them. What do you sell? Your expertise around real estate. And expertise is a dynamic term. Expertise could be related to lifestyle. It could be related to knowing the numbers and the comps. It could be related to expertise in terms of understanding what a home needs to have in it to meet your demands of living. I've seen different forms of expertise manifested from different agents. And so I like the word expertise because knowledge is the same. Expertise is dynamic. Expertise is your fingerprint. It's unique to you, and it better describes why people choose to work with you because of your specific competences, because of your expertise. Now, here's the thing. Real estate agents are often accused of being overly salesy. And I would argue for the vast majority, that's because they don't know what they sell. They think they sell themselves. They think they sell houses. And so they keep selling that when that's not really what they sell. Remember, people like you and they sense from you that you have for them what they want for themselves. You sell your expertise to enable that future that they desire, the consumer desires. So imagine this. Imagine if every day you published a video on social media that was just freaking useful and it demonstrated your expertise. Would anybody ever call you salesy? And the answer is no. They just call you. Why? Well, because you demonstrated your worthiness for hire. Look at this video right here. This is Jen Dillard doing a pro tip. And as you watch the video, I want you to pay attention to who she's addressing in the video. Who is she talking to in the video? She does videos like this all the time. Ready, get set, let's watch.
I was at a listing appointment last week with a seller that previously had their home on the market with another agent. They reached out because they needed a fresh perspective on marketing because let's face it, the market has changed. And if the market has changed, your marketing has to change along with it. At the meeting, they asked me what I would do differently to market the property, and I thought I would share my response with you. Here are the top 3 things that I would do to market a property in today's marketplace. Number 1, stage. First of all, let me make this very clear. Not all staging is created equal, and if your agent is pulling from their own personal home or using decor that is not modern and fitting for the space, don't do it. The purpose of staging is not to fill the
Now, I'm not going to play the whole video because we have a lot to get through today, but this is a video where she specifically is talking to somebody who wants to understand what it takes to sell in today's market environment. But she's really appealing in a very direct way to somebody who's currently on the market or just came off the market and they're not having a good go at it. So it begs the question, who are you talking to in your videos? Who are you seeking to solve their problems for? Because that's going to be a direct connection to more DMs, more lead generation. It really boils down to defining your audience. Who are you for on social media? Which leads us into a quick segue. I want to talk about your Instagram bio. And what is the best practice for choosing the right bio? I've got mine up on the screen here as a resource that we can look at in a little bit. And I want to make an argument that there are 3 sections that your bio needs, and the order of these sections matters. The first is your audience. The first line of your bio, if you look over here at my bio for just a moment, you'll notice there are emoji bulleted lines. I'm going to zoom in for us. Emoji, emoji, and it's like bullet points. Think bullet points. The first line should say who you're making content for. It's not about you. It's not really a bio. A bio is not really about you. It's about the customer in terms of working through you to achieve their own objectives. That's all we care about is generating business. This is called social media marketing. So who are you posting content for? If you look at mine, just as an example, it says marketing tactics for real estate pros, entrepreneurs, and marketers. So I'm telling you, if you navigate to my profile, here's what you're going to expect to get. That's all that it is. The first line of your bio should do that. If you're taking notes, write down the audience. Who are you posting content for? I used ChatGPT to help me wordsmith this and get it very succinct so I could fit it because there's a 150 character limitation. So you're going to be working with tight margins. Second line of your bio is authority. Why should I trust or believe you? And if you look at mine once again, I hung my hat on Tom Ferry. Speaker, consultant, coach for Tom Ferry. Therefore, by extension, I have credibility. That was the thinking of this. You might say something about an accolade or over 1,000 reviews, 5+ reviews on Google, whatever gives you credibility and shows the consumer, okay, I see that your content is for me, and I see that you are trustworthy. And then it leads us to our third line, which is action. What's the next step you want somebody to take? Thinking again about the fact that you're doing reels, and reels are consumed largely by non-followers, their natural mechanism is to click your profile, to visit your profile and see what you're all about. See if there's more good stuff they've been missing out on and they're going to read your bio. Does your bio clearly say who you're for, why they should believe you or trust you and work with you or listen to you, subscribe to your thought leadership? And the last one is, what do you want them to do? What's the next step? And this doesn't need to be a high intent action. It doesn't need to be like schedule an appointment today. It doesn't have to be that. If you look at mine, it's simple. It just says resources, courses, content, connect. So my call to action is I want you to click that link right there. And if you do click that link right there, it takes you to my link in bio that drives you to different actions. So I'm actually routing you to a distribution page, a dispatch page for different calls to action. When you think about your bio, you need to define who's your audience, who are you making content for, and what are you leading them or inviting them to do? Because a lot of people are just throwing out media and throwing out content, and there's really not a strategic, well, what is this doing for us? How are we what is the funnel on this? Think about what you're building and why you're building it, and then create content that moves that needle. I hope this is clear. I know I'm covering a lot of ground very quickly. I hope it's clear for you. 3 sections of a bio: audience, authority, action. If you have room in the character count and you want to add a 4th section, you can slip one here in between action and authority that I call attribute. And it could be a descriptive, like maybe you have a passion or a hobby or something that defines you as a person that would create some affinity with other people. You might want to mention that there. It could be something silly even, but if you don't have room, just go to these core 3. I'm peeking at the chat to make sure you're tracking along okay. I think we are. Let's keep on moving to our second video. Second video is local spotlight videos, where you highlight your town getting super hyper local. Now I'm going to play you a little bit of this next video, and I want you to realize this is Faith Barrett. They freaking crush it in Redding, California. She and her husband run an incredible team. $1 million producers per year after 3 years in the business. Video driven. It's ridiculous how successful they become. And they love on the town. They just take their iPhone and they shoot these basic videos. There's nothing crazy about it. And they just love on the community, and the community loves back on them. It's a happy little family community vibe going on. And the video looks something like this.
If you're looking for a quick pick-me-up on this Monday, whether you want to drive through or check out a really cool spot that just opened up, we're here at Addendum and we're about to check out what they have. So let's grab a bite and see you inside.
So nothing crazy fancy, but it's just loving on, in this particular case, she's loving on a new business. Sometimes it's a business. Sometimes it's a trail system or a local amenity or a local happening or a new rezoning, something or another. It's simply hyper-local content. And here's why hyper-local content matters so much right now. If you look at social media is becoming unsocial. It's becoming less and less social, less and less local. This comes from an earnings report from Facebook, or Meta, I should say, Mark Zuckerberg. At the end of last year, he made a comment that said right now about 15% of what we see in our feeds on Facebook and on our Instagram feed is actually recommended from our AI, meaning it's not from accounts you follow or not even from ads or groups you're a member of. It's AI suggested content, and it's probably entertaining. And they said that number will more than double by the end of this current year. It's already more than doubled. As of June, we were already up to 25% on Facebook, and Instagram was hitting 40% of AI suggested content. Now there's an opportunity here. So I want you to think that this is going to require some thinking big about how algorithms work. Fundamentally, these social media algorithms are predicated on people's interests. The way AI suggestions work is they look for signals that would signify interest. Well, so-and-so watches these videos and you're close to them, so maybe you'll like these videos. They'll have hunches like that. Or you've watched videos and stuff about this topic, maybe you'll like this. And so it's feeding you more of what you like. It's a confirmation bias happening on social media. The algorithms are predicated on your interest right now. Specifically, I should qualify that. The AI suggestion algorithms are predicated on your interests. All right, so what if you made content that was so freaking hyper local that only locals would be interested in it? Well, then you'd be actually riding the wave of these algorithmic changes, whereby now you'd be feeding content to Facebook, to Instagram that was so hyper local, the algorithm was like, what to do? Wow, we've got to find an audience who actually wants this content. Can we do it? Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. We can find a local audience to give you local reach with people in your local marketplace. Look at Ken Posick, for instance. This dude crushes it. We'll talk more about him in a moment. He crushes it on YouTube in particular, but his Instagram is crazy. He texted me this, 100,000 views, hyper local like crazy, getting more love than most curated content of other agents. Check out the views. And it's not just the one, he does it again and again and again. The more hyper local he gets, the better his content performs. I had a coaching session with Ken this morning. Ken said, yesterday I went to the bank, I went to a convenience store, and I went to some other store. And all 3 times he got recognized. I see you on Instagram, I see you on TikTok, I see you on YouTube. He got recognized by the clerk in all 3 cases, and they were all in his local community because he is riding this trend. A lot of us could look and say, wow, I don't like this. These AI suggested posts, I don't like it. Because that means my friends and my followers aren't seeing my content as much because they're seeing other people's content, because about a third of their feed is AI suggested. So a lot of us can look at this and say, wow, this is limiting my ability to reach my people. And it's true that it is. But what Ken does is he says, it is what it is. Let's ride the wave. I can reach everybody else's people if I make content that's going to be predicated on the interests of the locals. So what can you do to localize your content? Got a few things to make some local social. Use location tags when you post content, always in and around your town, to tell the platforms this is content relevant for people, or this content happened here in these areas. Make those searchable tags. Like, don't just do like a specific address necessarily, do like a neighborhood, or do a part of town, like downtown Nashville, that kind of a thing. Hyperlocal posts, that's what Ken's doing. He's making content that only locals would care about. Number 3 is using local hashtags, researching what are locals following and using those local hashtags. Number 4 is keywords. So as you make your hyperlocal content in the video, use words that are hyperlocal because it's reading the transcript. In the caption, use words that are local. Tell Facebook and Instagram, hey, listen up, this content is local. And the job then of the algorithm becomes to go find you your audience. Michelle, you can research hashtags simply by following other accounts locally. There are tools that you can do it with. It's not an overly formal or scientific process. It's just searching a neighborhood and seeing what tags pop up and then grabbing a few. It's not an overly scientific thing to do. And then last is you can do a 15-mile boost. So you can take your content and target it to people who are in a 15-mile radius of your town, therefore establishing a paid advertising dome around your content to show it to those people. I know I'm moving fast, but this is what you can do to dial up the local aspects of your content. And remember, the AI suggestions are all about interest. They're going to show people content based upon their interests. But the performance of your content, of every respective post, really boils down to another I word, and that is interaction. Interaction equals visibility. If your content on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on anywhere, on Facebook, if your content isn't garnering interactions, then they're going to stop showing it to people. See, the way that it works, I'll use Instagram as an example. You do a post, whether it's a reel or a photo or whatever, you do a post on Instagram, and Instagram will immediately start testing that post on a small sample of people. Hey, we think these people are the most likely to comment or share it or watch it or whatever. And they're going to see how it does. And then based upon that test, it'll go to a wider group and a wider group and a wider group. And so if at any one of those points across that crescendo, your post stops garnering interactions, I'll define interactions more in a moment, they're going to stop distributing your post. So if your content isn't sparking dialogue, if it isn't getting views, if it isn't getting shares, then it's not getting seen either. There is a direct corollary between you get content that reaches people when it performs in terms of creating social interactions with people. Another note on this. This is from Later Media, and this is a note, duh. The Instagram algorithm gives priority to posts with higher engagement, meaning that the more likes and comments your post receives, hey, guess what? The more people are going to see it. No kidding. Now, what does interaction mean? Interaction is broken down like this. Time spent. Are you going to spend time on this post? Likes. How are you going to like this post? Are you going to give it a thumbs up or a heart or whatever? Comments. How likely are you to comment on this post? Saves. How likely are you to save this post? Taps on profile. How likely are you to tap the profile to go visit that post, that profile after seeing the post? And there is another one that's not on this sheet, but it's at the very, very top right now. And that is share. This screenshot's I need to update the screenshot. It's dated. The new one that goes above them all is share. How likely are you to hit that paper airplane and share this post? Shareable content wins the frickin' day. But time spent on post is also a huge factor. The longer people stay with your content, the more valuable the content is to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or YouTube, because think about how those platforms work. The more people who are on their platforms and the longer those people are on their platforms, the more they can charge advertisers. And so the more money they can make is directly hinged on the ability of your content to make their platforms interesting. Isn't it fascinating that we are the batteries of these money-making billion dollar machines. Without your user-generated content, they're worthless. But with your user-generated content harnessed into the feeds and us all addicted to scrolling through the feeds, they can show ads like crazy and make a freaking boatload of money. Fascinating how that works, isn't it? What can you do to get some time extension to get people to watch your videos for longer? A couple things. One, you can make videos. The nature of watching a video is you have to watch it and the clock starts ticking. So make more videos to get people to spend longer with your content. It's more difficult to scroll. Number two, use titles and subtitles in your video. We know that roughly 85% of all videos are watched with the sound off. Think about the feeds where the sound is off by default. The home feed on Instagram, it's off by default. The Reels feed, it's on by default. The For You feed on TikTok is on by default. The home or the news feed on Facebook, off by default. Do some of your own inventory. Certain feeds, by default, have the sound off. Namely, the main feeds have the sound off. About 85% of all videos get watched with the sound off. Someone's laying in bed, they don't want to disturb their partner, so the sound is off. And if they see your video but can't read the subtitles, they're going to scroll. They're going to scroll. Unless they're wearing headphones, they're going to scroll. Number three is beefier post captions. Give them, hey, more details in the caption. Give them something to go read. It keeps them on your content for longer. Number four is the comment thread. Drive people into your comments. One of our coaching clients, Jeremy Knight, he's successful on YouTube, big time. He'll say in his video, hey, make sure to check out that comments thread. It always gets dicey whenever I do a video like this, which everybody goes, oh, I can't wait. And they go see what's in the comments thread. What are you doing to drive that conversation in the comments thread? Are you pinning comments? Are you replying to comments? Are you tagging and mentioning people to bring them into the conversation? Because the comments thread can become your own little Reddit forum to keep people on your content longer. Third video to make is property tours, and I need to pick up my pace a little bit, believe it or not. There's something magic about you showing homes in real estate. You get to market two things. You get to market yourself, that is your expertise, and you get to market your listings. But when you use your listings to market yourself, it's you doing the thing people think you do. It's kind of a chemical reaction of awesomeness. So look at videos like this one here. We call this a selfie gimbal. This is Kyle DeBoer using this little selfie stick. It's called a gimbal. This is a DJI Osmo gimbal. Holds his iPhone to stabilize the shot. And he's editing this video in an app called CapCut, which is a super powerful app. And the video goes like this. Here we go.
Can you buy a new home in Indiana for under $300,000? Yes, you can. Check out this Bradford model from Arbor Homes. And as you enter off of the beautiful front porch, you're immediately met with a flex room. Then you're tour to the L-shaped kitchen, designed to give you plenty of space to cook with your loved ones. And the great room is conveniently located right off the kitchen. An open floor plan allows you to
All right, so commentary, a couple of things. One, you saw Kyle make a quick little cameo here at the beginning. What you're actually seeing is a green screen effect. He's using CapCut. He was like probably in sweatpants touring that property. He added this after the fact. Watch how he sort of rolls off the shot. He like rolls away in an unnatural, he's not actually there. It's a green screen. But the cameo in the beginning, it gets him to be associated with the property. You want that. I want the consumer to get used to seeing you coming with the property. It creates a strong association from a marketing trigger standpoint. Two, he's just walking around with the gimbal and he's using a voiceover so he doesn't have to try to talk and walk and video shoot all at the same time. It's just a super good way of doing it. He posts these videos like crazy. And what happens is his database, his followers start DMing him, man, you're really busy. You got a lot of listings right now. And he's like, and then he gets more listings. What's interesting is half the time they're not his listings. He just gets the consent from the listing agent to go do a preview of a property. He doesn't say he's the listing agent, but a lot of times the consumer assumes he is. He even puts in the caption, I'm not the listing agent. He follows the chain of what he's supposed to do. He gets the right consent. He discloses in the right way, but yet the consumer's not paying that close of attention, and he's creating association of there's Kyle with the listing. There's Kyle with the listing. There's Kyle with the listing. And it's just over and over and over again, Kyle with more listings. And because of that, he attracts more listings. You get what your content attracts. If you make videos about buyers or for buyers, you're going to get buyers. If you make videos for sellers or about listings, you're going to get sellers. If you make videos about your hobbies, you're going to get hobbyists. Let that soak in. You get what your content attracts. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. Now, we're going to switch gears in a little bit and talk more about how to get more content. If you want to go deeper on how do you crack the social code organically, how do you really dial in your profiles on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and all of this, we've talked about a few of these things, but all of this, make sure to check out my course called Cracking the Social Code. Here's a link to it that when you get my slides, you can either click this QR code or just scan it now. Use this code WMP10 at checkout and save 10%. And Cracking the Social Code is one course, part of the Marketing Pro suite of courses. And these courses talk about your Google business profile. They talk about email marketing. They talk about social media marketing. If you want about 3 hours of my instruction going step by step with screen shares and everything that you can speed up, slow down, watch again and again and again to dial in your social media strategy and really once and for all beat the algorithms, make sure to check out this course, Cracking the Social Code. It's part of Marketing Pro. Just click or scan the QR code and don't forget your discount. If you're watching and you are a coaching client, be sure you're also logged in to Illume because you'll get an even bigger discount than that on top of this discount. All right, moving on. What stops you from making video? I'd be curious to hear it in the caption if you have a second. What stops you? And I know the real answer is you stop you. You stop you from making video because you say things like, I don't have time for that. And that's because you're not time blocking. You're not managing your schedule properly. I hate to be blunt. But I would say what really stops you is, what if I look stupid? What if I say the wrong, what if I don't do it right? And I want to remind you, it's not about you. It's about helping the consumer achieve their objectives. You see, if you flip your focus and you, instead of worrying about how you look or how they're going to think about you, you instead make your all-consuming focus, how am I going to serve them? All those nerves melt. When you're thinking about what others need from you, you can't feel nervous because it's not about you. And so if you're not making video, I want to remind you it's not about you. And I also want to remind you that nobody does you better than you. And so don't try to be somebody you're not. Try to be the you that only you can pull off. Nobody does you quite like you do you. And at the end of the day, it's a relationship business. I know you, I like you, I trust you, and there's no media quite like video in terms of achieving that sweet spot, that trifecta. But the problem is you're still not making enough content. Not even close. These platforms are flipping greedy right now. This is a screenshot from Instagram, or excuse me, from Later, that did a study on Instagram at the end of last year, analyzing, hey, what's the optimal number of posts on Instagram per week? Not stories, posts per week, which can include reels or photo posts or all of it. And what they found is, well, for accounts under 1,000 followers, 14 times a week is optimal. For accounts with over 1,000 followers, 14 to 20 times a week is optimal. And you're like, what? Twice a day? Look, some is better than none and done is better than perfect. However, what this study is saying is it's not that you have to do it that often. They're simply saying that if you want to seize the full opportunity of what's on the table in terms of social media reach and growth, this is the sweet spot of what it takes to compete at the highest level. And so I want to help you, for the balance of our course, cut through the noise. How do you cut through the noise? How do you get the systems dialed in to actually make that much content? I'm going to give you 3 strategies. Strategy number 1 is batching content. Bulk record your videos to stay in the flow. Batching content is tip 1 to accelerate the amount of content you're producing, like Katie Day, one of our coaching clients, who runs the Move Me to Texas team down in Houston, Texas. She posts a video every day, just like this. It's a talking head style video every day. And she's very successful, 30,000 followers, very successful on social media, generates a lot of inbound lead generation, grows her team, very successful on social media. She records videos 1 day a month, and her recording block is 2 hours. She has a videographer that she hires. They use Peer Spaces. The videographer will go to Peer Spaces, reserve a house that they can shoot in for the morning or the afternoon, go set up the lights and the camera and all that stuff. Katie shows up, and they have a sheet of paper with about 100 topics on it. And so the videographer will say, hey, Mike's Katie up. Hey, you ready? She's sitting there and she goes, ready. Lights are on. Everything's good. He hits the record. So they're rolling. And he reads the sheet. He says, hey, the first topic you listed here is talk about how we're seeing multiple offers again. And then Katie will just riff and answer about multiple offers. And then he'll go, okay, next up is talk about if you're feeling like you can't buy a house, should you lease or not? And then she'll just riff and answer about that. And for about 2 hours, he will basically interrogate her with various topics and questions, and she will extemporaneously give an answer, give commentary on those, and then she'll leave 2 to 3 hours later. And then he cleans everything up. He edits everything down. A week later, she gets a link to a Google Drive folder. And out of the 100 topics they may be talked about, she'll get 60 to 80 videos out of that. Some are going to be throwaways. They just will be. But she has enough content where she could literally drop 2 videos a day. And she did it in 2 to 3 hours a month. Think about the power of batching. If you feed the machine that much content, you're deputizing the algorithm to truly go to work for you. Technique number 2 is sampling, whereby you react to existing content. I get the objection a lot, Jason, I don't know what to make content about. And the answer is, what if you didn't come up with the content? What if you simply reacted to content? So for example, like I'm gonna put this video on for us to watch for a quick second.
According to a study by Redfin, home delistings hit a record high in November. Of course, Austin always makes the list. That was the second city that had the biggest increase.
Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to just pause Shannon here. She crushes it with these. This is just a screen recording in the background. It's a green screen effect on Instagram. And she is simply reacting to the news that she knows the consumer is reading and seeing in her local marketplace, and she's giving it a local commentary. She's just reacting to the news. She's not coming up with topics. They're coming to her with topics. And if you're interested in green screens, in the slides, I have a step-by-step on how to do these on Instagram. One more tip for you to get more content in less time, and then we're going to go to some Q&A for a little bit. And that is chopping, slice and dice your content. Here's Ken Posick again. And I have a question. Are you doing long-form content? YouTube and long-form content is absolutely a worthy pursuit. I know I'm talking about vertical video today, but the long-form stuff has a lot of merit. This is Ken's YouTube channel, a screenshot of it. He's got 30,000 plus subscribers. Ken makes 1 video a week, and he does 1 live stream podcast a week. That's it. 1 video a week, and they range from, this one's 8 minutes, 11 minutes, 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes. So long form is, let's call it 6 to 9 minutes, maybe as long as 15 minutes. And it's 1 of those a week. Plus, he does a live stream podcast where he just talks about local happenings. And then, by the way, before I answer the and then, look at how it works. He's got about 30,000 plus subscribers. Last year, he generated 1,800 leads total off of YouTube for the year, and he sold them 202 houses. I talked to Ken this morning. They're currently averaging about 600 to 700 leads a month right now off of YouTube organically. They're not paying for it. It's organic. They're just watching his videos, getting caught in the loop and falling in love with the brand and reaching out. Hey, we're looking to move, we're looking to sell. And they just reach out, inbound organic all day, every day. And they're converting at a rack rate of about 11%, just standard. And he's built a team around these. It's unbelievable how well the long form does. But wait, there's more. He has a dedicated video editor whose only job is to take the 2 videos, the podcast and the long form, to take those and slice them up 1,000 different ways, to chop until you drop, so to speak. And these are crushing on Instagram and TikTok. He is repurposing his existing content, 7-second clips, 20-second clips, 11-second clips, 40-second clips of those in their vertical chops as Reels and as TikToks, and they are crushing, and they're super hyper local, and they're growing on Instagram and TikTok and generating more business for him. So the idea I would pose is, hey, look, what if posting every day, posting every other day, posting every day or twice a day, what if it wasn't an absurd request? What if you truly could do less and still get more by working more efficiently? What if you could chop? What if you could batch? What if you could sample and get a lot more content? Because at the end of the day, marketing without content is truly like a bow without arrows. So when we talk about what's your social IQ, understanding interest and understanding interactions and understanding the algorithms matters. But what really matters is your content. Not was it shot with the right camera or was it shot with an iPhone? And that doesn't matter so much. It's about you demonstrating your expertise over and over and over again, literally every day, and building a brand that is knowable, likable, trustworthy. That's what it takes to succeed. Once again, if you want to do that course, here's that QR code again. If you missed it before, you can scan it again. Go learn more about how to crack the social code. I want to be a resource for you on social as well. If you have questions that crop up later, here's that code for you. And then last but not least, and then we'll go to Q&A, Bill. Here are the slides. Go to jasonpantana.com/RMA, RateMyAgent 2. I I bet you can guess what the link's going to be for the next one. jasonpantana.com/RMA2. Make sure that RMA is lowercase for Rate My Agent. Go get the slides. A lot of the slides are clickable where it clicks to a video to go watch the video itself, since it is just a PDF. What matters now is implementation. Ideas are easy. Execution is where all the money gets made. So review the slides and then formulate what is your strategy on social look like. If you want to crack the code, then you got to start making videos and you got to do it according to a plan that achieves a specific outcome. So what does that look like for your business? All right, let me take the screen share off and let's go do some Q&A. Bill, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. You want to check out the Q&A?
Yeah.
I guess we can use the Q&A or we can put them in the comments, whatever works for you guys.
Yeah, throw them out there. I have one to start with. You okay with that, Jason? I think people freak out a little bit with video, right? Creating video is so hard, the panic of being in front of a camera. But there are some really cool ways out there. I know you've talked about this before. I share this, but just let the camera run and just do some really cool editing with some jump cuts. Don't try to have that perfect video every single time. Just let it go.
When it comes to editing,
yeah,
they should look at there's an app called Captions AI. And on the Captions AI, it lets you put a teleprompter script on it so you can read the prompter script, but it uses an AI and it will force eye contact. So it doesn't you don't see your eyes scanning the script. It will move your eyes as it renders the video so it looks like you're talking to the camera while you're reading a script.
While you're reading the script. Awesome.
Yeah. So
Caption
there are
AI.
tools to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Someone needed the actual name of the book again, just went by.
Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion.
She asked me to spell that out. Good luck with that. No,
Psychology is one of those words that always gets me. Influence.
Yeah, gotcha.
INFLUENCE. The Psychology of Persuasion. It's by Robert Cialdini or Cialdini, however, people say his name differently. But it's a great read. Great read.
Awesome.
All right, what else? Don't be so shy. I saw the question about hashtags before. What are your other questions? I specifically saved time on this one to have a Q&A.
You did a great job. Who's here? Who's questions, folks? Throw them in there. We got plenty. We got a few more minutes here where we can cover these topics that you want to cover.
What a shy group.
It is kind of shy. Well, I'll tell you one thing.
Maybe it's a really long typing.
Let's talk about hashtags for a second, just a little bit. Over the years, it's changed quite a bit. Whether it's, you got to put them in the first comment, or you got to have only a certain number, or don't do this because you're penalized. Are you comfortable talking about that?
Yep, we can do that. I'm pulling up something else too that I want to jump into if we need to.
Cool.
So right now the rule of thumb is 3 to 5 hashtags. They should be in the caption, not in the comments. The hashtag should be descriptive of the post, not aspirational. Don't say hashtag Taylor Swift just because you think it's going to get you a lot of views. At the end of the day, you want to attract the right views, the right people. Think about it like this, and this is a sidebar, but this is a parallel to hashtags. Let's say you do a video that goes viral, and the video is about your puppy dog riding in an airplane. And puppy dog lovers from everywhere watch your video and fall in love with you, and they start following you. Was that a good, or let's say you got millions of views on the video. Does that help you or hurt you in the long run? I would argue that the answer is it hurts you, because you're now you're mistraining the algorithm about the audience you're trying to build.
Yeah.
It now believes you are for an audience of puppy dog enthusiasts when you're not. You're for a local community. You get what your content attracts. So in the same way, you want to use hashtags that describe your content, knowing your content is for the audience you look to build, and also hashtags that are relevant to that audience in your local marketplace. So like if I did a market report on the neighborhood called 12 South Nashville, I might use 12 South Nashville, hashtags relevant to it. Don't overthink it. Hashtags aren't a silver bullet anymore, but they can help you.
Yeah. Question from Randy Courtney, who actually is a friend from Phoenix. I've known Randy for a long time. Thanks for being on the episode here with us, Randy. But at what point do you justify hiring video editor, publisher? What is the when do you think you need
Randy, I'm going to give you a couple of thoughts here to see. I'm going to operate as if you don't need to. Does that make sense? As if you don't need to. First thing I would say is this is fine. This is a great camera. If you're comfortable doing this, do this. If you want to hire one, great, hire one. But justify might be the wrong word. Kim Posick has a videographer because he's committed to using DSLR level videos. It's part of what he does. I will say if you have a YouTube ambition, YouTube does place a higher premium on quality than Instagram and TikTok do for sure. But if you're going to go after the vertical video game, in some ways you're better off not having a professional shot. I film my own videos here. I just hit record and do my thing. My editor lives, I think in Portland. I've never met my editor before. I use a VA company to edit my videos, and they just give them back and put the subtitles and do all the thing. You could look at Fiverr. There are a lot of video editing companies that you could leverage to do those and just get it as a low cost per video versus hiring somebody on staff or salary. If you need B-roll and aerial drone shots and you're going to go hyper local in that way, getting a videographer may make sense, but it could be on a contract basis where you just hire them to go get you the library of the footage you need for different purposes. Some other tools to think about with editing. There's a cool tool. Let me share my screen. Let me open up a cool tool. I'll show it to you really quick. This is an AI-based tool. Let me share my screen. It's called Descript. And what Descript does is, as it loads, retrieving project. Okay, so I put this is a video I did on Instagram, a green screen video I did a while ago, and it automatically transcribes my video, what I said. And what's cool if you look down here is it's automatically divided the timestamps of every word on the edits. So rather than jump cutting or editing the WAV file, I could literally put my cursor here. There's an so it says Adobe's generative fill technology. I don't like that so I can make it say, I'm going to select my cursor and I'm going to just delete that. Generative fill technology, whereby you can say, hey, it for me. Unlike Adobe's generative fill technology, whereby, and now it's gone. So there are a lot of smart ways to make videos more efficiently. Some apps I would definitely be looking at include CapCut, Veed, V-E-E-D, and I would look at Lumen 5, L-U-M-E-N 5, and I would look at that Captions AI and let yourself be blown away by how streamlined color grading, removing backgrounds, adding subtitles. Captions AI adds subtitles beautifully. You can do a frickin' ton without a video editor, and if you can edit a document, you can edit a video, a talking head style video that I just showed you. Yeah. So those are just some thoughts to think about. Yeah, great. There's a great question here for you as we get closer. Do you recommend starting a podcast that is super hyper local? And we're talking local, or is it best to stick with Reels, TikTok, and YouTube? It depends on you and what your ambitions are. It's fine to stick with Reels, TikTok, and so forth, but long form content, like Gary Vaynerchuk made a comment that he takes his job with TikTok is to take top of funnel, high level interest and drive it to his long form, where they're really going to stick with him for longer. I believe if you can get people to listen and watch for longer, they're going to be more into your brand. I love the idea of a hyper-local podcast and having in-person guests. I love it. If you have the ability to pull it off at a high quality, go for it. However, with long-form content, there is, what I just said a second ago, a greater demand on quality of better resolution, more camera shots, and so forth. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. Anything else in here? There's the apps to use. So Jen, here comes the apps again. Yep. CapCut, C-A-P-C-U-T. Veed, V-E-E-D.io. Lumen 5. Nah, that's not my favorite. Captions AI. And then the one I showed you a second ago was Descript. Randy, I'll see you at Summit next week. We're going to talk about I'm talking about a freaking ton of AI at Summit next week. So those were top of mind. Now I'll be in all of your AI sessions myself, Jason. So I'm very excited. Love it. Well, so everything's on the main stage. So everybody's in the same room the whole time. So it'll be perfect. I'll be there. All right. I think we're good to go here. I think we're right up against the 1 o'clock time zone, and I know you've got a lot of work to do. So Jason, once again, thank you so much. Everyone on the call, we are going to be back on August 30th for round 3 with Jason Pantana. The focus this time will be databases, correct? Maybe a little. Yeah, so it's going to be sort of a capstone. Okay. We're going to take what we've done so far, the SEO, the reviews, the video, and how do you weave that into a massive marketing plan designed to move your database forward. Nice. Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I see a request here looking for the first Zoom class. Yeah, just send us a note. Send us a note at info@ratemyagent.com or sales@ratemyagent.com. We'll be happy to make sure, Michelle, we get that out to you.
And thank you, Jason, once again, for a wonderful session. And I will see you on probably sometime Monday afternoon.
Next week. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.